Greetings, lovely people, and welcome to Fast Track 4. Today we're going to be talking about Miss Marvel, Episode 2, Crushed. And, spoilers ahead for that episode. Let's just jump straight into it. So, Kamala, after the events that obviously happened in the last episode, has a lot of confidence at school and is actually getting some respect at school, which is pretty cool. She plays basketball. She is able to talk to people that before were just kind of in her way or not listening to her or anything like that. There's a Paul Rudd ageless joke. I'm just gonna let that sit for a second as a joke about how Ant-Man is ageless. Paul Rudd joke. Homecoming is apparently close, so that's the kind of time period we're looking at. There's posters for Homecoming, which, in Marvel, that just means Spider-Man, really. The popular girl, Zoe, I believe her name is throwing a party. There's a new student called Cameron who is invited to this party, and Kamala wants to go to the party because Cameron's going to be there, and she's, crushing on him. That's the reason why the episode is called Crushed. And, she shows Bruno her powers because apparently Bruno didn't see the light show that she did at, AvengerCon, but here's what it is. Bruno is playing Crash Run, I believe, the Crash Bandicoot mobile game, which is weird product placement, but we'll allow it. The bangle unlocked innate power, apparently. So the bangle is just a way to unlock some sort of energy within Kamala, which I think is an interesting way of doing it, which is, kind of how the various ways that, the other Marvels get their powers works. So I kind of like that, especially in the comics. I mean, not so much in the movies, but I kind of like that. She asks Bruno if she's Asgardian, and related to Thor and stuff, and they say, maybe, we don't know, because they don't know anything. And they decide to call the light structures hard light, because that's what it is. It's light that solidifies, essentially. She gets used to moving and projecting her powers, so she's able to run through the air, essentially, climb up stuff using her ability, and, as I say, throw out projections, throw out discs, throw out solid matter, essentially. We have a scene of Islamic prayer. We get discussions of how the mosque renovation is needed for the women's area, and how the men's area is pristine. So it's a bit of political commentary or religious commentary, I suppose. I don't really know too much about it, so I'm not going to go too much into detail on all that kind of thing, but that's stuff that happens. Kamala apologizes to her mother for sneaking out, but then asks to go to the party at Zoe's. Successfully, is allowed to go, as long as she's back before 9 and she comes through the main door, which is perfectly fair enough. She accidentally, at the party, has vodka orange juice. She's told it's just orange juice, and then she drinks it and she realizes it's vodka. Is what it is. Cameron jumped off the roof into the pool, doing a little bit of a spinny front flip sort of thing. But then, just as, everything's starting to go well, the police turn up at the party. And luckily, Cameron has a car and gives everyone a lift home or to Bruno's shop or whatever, the place where they made the costume in the last episode. I don't actually know what it is in relation to them. I believe Bruno lives there, but I don't know for sure. Bruno is trying to kill Kamala's chances with Cameron. It's not really working. They're vibing on a lot of levels, and Cameron ends up giving Kamala his number, which is very nice. He also gets Bruno's name wrong, which isn't so nice, but it's played off as a joke. We don't know for sure. It is just how it is. We then have a bit of a musical fantasy scene with Kamala. There's some romantic music playing as the captions read. And, it's a nice enough scene. It's actually broken quite funnily by her opening the fridge and getting like a Capri Sun, talking to her mum for a second. Cameron promises to give Kamala some driving lessons, and Kamala is even more distracted during the day at school. She can't tell Nax, I'm going to call her because that's what Kamala calls her, Nax about her powers, decides not to at the very least. And we find out that Nakia is actually running for the mosque board, like the board of directors sort of thing, a seat in that, which is very cool. And then Kamala is given some earrings and a dress by Nax, which, are basically just to impress Cameron. Bruno meets with Mr. Wilson, and it turns out he's got into Caltech, which is obviously California's leading technology university or college, whatever you want to call it. And Kamala cancels training with Bruno so that she can go and have a driving lesson sort of thing with Cameron. Where she does ask Bruno to go to Eid, but then goes and starts driving fine in Cameron's, I guess, uncle's car, I think they say it is. But, she doesn't crash, which is an improvement on last episode. But yeah, they go to a cafe. There's a Kingo reference, which, connecting the worlds together, it's always interesting. And her brother and his fiancée turn up at the cafe. They try to hide from her brother. Her brother comes into the cafe, and they have to pretend that Cameron is a cousin, like a distant cousin. They actually do it successfully. The brother completely falls for it. And then at dinner that night, they talk about the partition of India, which once again, not knowledgeable enough on it to discuss, but essentially there's a story in the family about Kamala's great-grandmother, and I'll not go into it any more than that, but essentially she disappeared. The bracelet, the bangle, whatever, was hers, and Kamala has visions and then passes out. And then before she goes to sleep, she calls her nanny, who is her grandmother, about the bangle and is given a little bit more information about it. We then find out that Bon Jovi is going to be playing at her brother's wedding as the main wedding music. And we go to the Eid festival, which is, very cool. Nax, whatever, guilt trips the uncles into voting for her, or at least guilt trips Kamala's dad into it, at the very least. Yesef, I think his name is. And then we jump into Damage Control, who has Zoe in an interrogation room. Damage Control are surveying Islamic buildings to try and find Miss Marvel, essentially. And, they also say that the FBI are also tracking now, which I don't know if that's a political comment or something that I'm just missing from the MCU. I assume that's a real-life political comment because that sounds about right, unfortunately. But, I don't actually know for sure. It's just a weird offhand comment. We have the aunties of, the Islamic community, local community, whatever. And they have all sorts of rumours about Kamala's great grandmother. And all that is stopped, though, when a boy falls off a tower. And he's, hanging by the curtains. Kamala manages to actually save him by climbing up using her powers. But he does drop. He does break his ankle by falling onto a car. She does save him from dying. But yeah, she makes some mistakes when essentially her great-grandmother flashes into her head and makes her lose focus and she loses her ability for a second. Luckily, as I say, he survives, he's fine. But yeah, he breaks his ankle and police are en route. We then find out some Stark drones are following Kamala and they actually catch her in an alleyway. And she manages to get away from the Department of Damage Control and is actually saved by Cameron. And then his mum is revealed to be, who I believe, don't quote me on this, Auntie Zara? I believe I was trying to find in the actual credits which character it was, and it is one of the characters from earlier in the episode. I believe it's Auntie Zara. I don't know for sure, but she's been looking for Kamala for a while, so yeah. I think everything that I said about last episode kind of stands here. This isn't quite at the point of, I'm excited about the next episode, but I am enjoying it. And especially, with the world building, the Department of Damage Control being here, really cool. The connections to Spider-Man, No Way Home and Far From Home, really good, really cool. I honestly, I'm just I want more action, and I want more fight scenes, and, I want so much more out of this, especially, coming out of even the worst Marvel Disney Plus shows, Falcon the Winter Soldier. At least they had a lot of action. And I don't know, school dramas aren't really my thing, as I said last episode. And, I'm just not quite feeling this. But hopefully that changes in the future. And in any case, this series is going to be fun eventually at some point, and at the very least, in the Marvels, I'm going to enjoy it because it's going to be, Kamala with Danvers and Monica, and, it's going to be fun. I'm going to enjoy that at the very least. But yeah, as for the series so far, Miss Marvel is good. I'm enjoying it, but I need more. I need more right now. But in any case, it's going to be it for this video. So thanks for watching. If you did like it, make sure to like it, subscribe down here, and ring that bell so you never miss upload. Otherwise, tell me what you think in the comments below of this episode of Miss Marvel, that is, or this episode of Fast Track Force, actually. Just tell me whatever. And, yeah, boys, I'll see you next time. Bye!
It's been a long week. I feel like I could use a vacation. I can hardly think. It's like the worst song you've ever heard. I'll never